Hello and welcome to Recharge Wrestling. We're here to plug you into the world of professional wrestling. We're back with our normal scheduled weekly podcast this week. It's me, Fisher, and I'm joined by Krusty.
Hey everyone.
Yeah, we've had a couple of interesting sort of specials recently. The end of year review, our quiz in the last week or so. If you haven't seen those, go watch them on our YouTube channel or listen to the podcast versions of them. They're all available. But they're different content, something a bit fun, very enjoyable stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys have while listening or watching. But we'll definitely come out with more of that and let us know if there's anything you want us to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we're back this week with just our normal coverage, WWE stuff today. Basically just SmackDown and Raw, and any news that's come out in the past week. And it's been a busy day, actually. Nothing, directly in terms of backstage news, more of a shock event that we weren't expecting. So we got Money in the Bank in the UK, in London, on 1st of July this
Came
year.
out of nowhere. I haven't seen any rumors about that.
I hadn't seen
Not
any
even
rumors
a
of it.
sniff.
No, I
So
saw Alex McCarthy, who's obviously a UK sort of journalist and stuff, wrestling guy, say that he had a big announcement at 12, but I just thought it was probably going to be an interview he's doing or something. I didn't think it was going to be anything big. And then suddenly, I saw, I looked about 12 on Twitter, and all of a sudden, all over my timeline, it was just Money in the Bank at the O2. I was like, wow, okay. So it's going to be a hot ticket. It's going to be hard to get tickets. I think it's going to be a pricey event as well.
yeah, I've been having a look at the tickets, which you can get currently at On Location, which is in dollars, but the cheapest tickets are from $360,
Yeah,
which
I think
doesn't
they are
include
packages
much.
and stuff, but
Well, the thing is, this package includes a lanyard and a hat and a
yeah,
different queue to get in. And that is sitting right at the top. So normally these packages are around the front row seats, but it's not. This is way at the top. If you want to sit sort of in the middle down the front, you're looking at $3,000. So
I know, yeah.
I have no
I'd try to
idea
think.
what these normal tickets are going to be, but we'll have to wait and see.
Nonetheless, though, we are very excited. It's great news that we've got another
Oh,
show,
it's just buzzing
regardless,
anyway, isn't it?
because obviously we went to Clash, it was great, and to have it in an even smaller kind of intimate arena like that, and a big pay-per-view in Money in the Bank, if we do manage to get tickets, will be an insane show.
It's showing how much sort of faith WWE now have in the UK.
Yeah. Well,
And the
it made them a
crowds
lot of
and
money
selling
last
arenas.
time, and the crowd also was. It wasn't just the fact that they sold tickets. I think the atmosphere and the buzz of the show. A lot of people have said it's pay-per-view of the year and things based on because the crowd was so good. Not just UK fans. I've heard US fans say it as well. So I think obviously it's done a very good reaction, and with AEW coming over in the summer as well, I think that might have been in their mind as well. So
It's good year for wrestling in the UK for sure.
100%. So yeah, I'm excited for that one. And the only other little bit of news this week is regarding Sasha Banks, now known, of course, as Mercedes Moné, making her debut at Wrestle Kingdom, coming out and confronting former WWE star Kairi Sane, who is the Stardom champion. They have a match set up, I think, for San Jose, California in February. So that was a big deal, and it's been so much talk about it on Twitter where her next move is going to be, because she basically said in a press conference afterwards that she is going to be doing a bit of a world tour and that they're the first stop. So I expect to see her all over the place in loads of different promotions, probably AEW at some point, whether she stays there permanently or not. But yes, today WWE put her in the alumni section of their roster, which is where they put any former WWE superstars that she was on the active roster until today. So they've obviously, I think, given up on trying to get her to come back.
Interesting times, but yeah, good luck to her. Nice to see her in the ring again.
I mean, I love her as a
February, isn't
wrestler,
it?
and I think she's fantastic, and I think she is such a big star that no matter what she does, people will go and watch. The amount of people that I saw yesterday never watched a New Japan show before, but were watching to see her shows that she does she's a massive draw, regardless of where she goes, I think. And I think if AEW managed to sign her, it'd be incredible for their women's division. But I'd like to at some point to see her back in WWE, maybe in a year or two's down the line, if she does do a tour and stops around everywhere.
If she sticks doing wrestling, I can see her definitely doing.
Yeah,
WWE
I mean, obviously
again.
she's
Probably
got the
not
acting.
week in, week out, but
she's got the acting career as well, as well as sort of fashion and modeling and things, whatever else she does. So yeah, she may not need wrestling, but her passion for it is so big that I think she'll continue to wrestle regardless. But yeah, that was that. So let's move on to
weekly news and SmackDown. Should we start with
a show that was last year and feels last year? It feels long ago.
Yeah, it does feel a long time ago.
I was thinking that this wasn't the right SmackDown when I was reading from my notes.
Am I right in thinking we've had 2 podcasts in between then?
We have, and I think that's why it seems so long, because we did the quiz last Thursday and then we did an end of the year review at the weekend.
Our content, just have a look. Recharge Wrestling on YouTube and check out that other those other videos from the other day. But yeah, interesting SmackDown. I mean, we've got to start with the main event, surely.
Yeah, well, there's two big newsworthy things coming out of it, but let's start with the main event. And John Cena wrestling, of course, wrestled every year in the last 20. So since 2002, he's wrestled at least one match. Left it very late to the second last day of the year this year, but had, of course, that tag team match, teaming with Kevin Owens against Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns.
It was great to see him. I just can't. I don't know why. I don't think I'll ever, as long as he's not here doing a massive run for ages and ages, I think I'll always pop for Cena coming out.
Yeah, I think as a special attraction every 3 or 4 months, 6 months, whatever, he's definitely welcomed on my screen. Like, I really enjoyed his promo that he did on the screen, and then I enjoyed watching him wrestle and the crowd reacting to it.
He hasn't lost it, has he?
No. And the thing is, I mean, he'll never lose his character and personality. In the ring, he keeps it quite simple anyway. It's not like he's doing massive flips or, do you know what I mean? He keeps it fairly simple. So I think he'll be able to do that for a sustained period. I don't see him not being able to do that. So yeah, hopefully he can continue to do this. And it's rumored that he might work WrestleMania this year. I'd like to see him have a match at WrestleMania. Who he faces, I don't know, but yeah, it was good to see him here, even with his like weird bald patch that he was showing his age a little bit, but still in great shape. And
phenomenal shape. It's interesting as I find the result here very interesting. I think it's all building through this story of Sami maybe disappointing Roman somewhat, but the fact that they got the win here actually did surprise me.
I thought they were going to get the win because I was looking at it and I was thinking, right, well, who can take the pin in this match? And I was thinking, well, Cena's not coming back to lose.
Well, I don't know. He comes back to lose quite often.
Yeah, but not on this occasion.
And he hit the tribal chief with an AA.
Yeah. And I thought, well, they're building KO to face Roman, so it'd be silly if he took the pin. And I thought, well, you're not going to have Roman lose. That would be really, really silly. So I thought, well, Sami Zayn's the obvious pick here to take the pin. And we'll get to Raw, but he got his win back on Raw anyway. So I think they kind of just did that. But what a fun little match. The only thing that annoyed me about it is they only showed about 4 minutes of it on TV. The ad break, there was 2 ad breaks. It was a long ad match, and I think it was a 10-minute match, and there were 2 ad breaks in it. I was thinking, why didn't you just put ad breaks earlier on in the show and then have this match ad free? Because they do that sometimes. They'll have the last section of a show advert free, but for some reason they
squeeze them all in.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit annoying. Actually, it kind of ruined the quality of the match, but it was still a spectacle to see Cena wrestle. That was what it was about, really, and it was a fun little match with KO getting the pin. I think in the end, wasn't it, on the Sami?
So, should we talk about the other sort of main attraction from SmackDown?
Let's move on to that.
A bit wild,
because that was a shock.
Yeah, this sort of came out of nowhere. Again, didn't expect this. We've been surmising this for quite a while, but we had Raquel Gonzalez versus Ronda Rousey for the women's title.
Yep.
And you know what? This is probably one of the best matches I've seen Ronda in a while.
I would agree with you on that one, yeah.
And props to Gonzalez, I guess, in that sense. I mean, Ronda can really wrestle when she's got the right opponent, but give her the wrong one or the wrong sort of
she has to be. I think she has to be motivated as well.
Really struggles, doesn't she?
Sometimes I think she just doesn't look like she wants to be there. But yeah,
Odd.
this was better. This was a better match. Raquel managed to
I really enjoyed
carry her
it.
to a decent match here. I thought they had a pretty good match. Yeah, in the end, obviously, you had Shayna Baszler getting involved. You had Raquel obviously injured as well before because of the going through the gauntlet last week and already been injured. So they've been playing up that Raquel had that and still nearly beat her.
Yeah.
So they made Raquel look pretty strong here, which I
They
thought was
must be
good.
building Raquel for something pretty impressive in the future. The fact that she's got so close.
I
and
think
I
she'll
hope
have
so.
a really good showing in the Rumble. I don't think she'll win the Rumble, but I think she'll
No.
have like a really good showing in the Rumble. Maybe get to the last 2 or 3, eliminate like 8 people or something like that.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. You could have a clash with some Raw superstars to make it quite interesting.
Rhea would be the obvious one. Yeah.
Rhea.
They always do
definitely.
Tamina, don't they? They always put Tamina. They always suddenly
Nobody
reel out
meaner.
Tamina in the Rumble spots or Battle Royals because she's just because she's big.
Yeah.
And then you don't see her for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I haven't seen Tamina in a long time. But this is when it really got interesting, didn't it? So
yes, it was after the match, obviously, that it got interesting. Gets on the mic, not for very long.
no.
And then suddenly this new music hit, but obviously I recognised it was Charlotte because of the Flair bit at the start.
Yeah.
But yeah, new music and
New
felt
music,
a little
new
bit
ring gear.
Yeah, it felt like a new presentation, which I was very happy about.
Yes, definitely.
And
But
obviously,
when we didn't get a very new presentation, as she challenged Ronda to a match and then beat her to win the title.
yeah, rolled her up. Wasn't really a long match. It was more.
No.
It was basically a Money in the Bank cash in, but it was like Flair in the bank. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Charlotte Flair can just come back and cash in whenever she wants, the
It's
same way
pretty
Brock
mad,
Lesnar
really,
can do
isn't
it. Yeah, it is bad, but I'm
happy. Pleased because Ronda's dropped the title now.
We were very
critical.
But
But Charlotte coming back and winning is just insanely hilarious.
It's hilarious to do with Charlotte. Yeah.
I hope her character is just slightly different now.
Yeah.
Presented differently, so I can enjoy her wrestling because she's a brilliant wrestler.
Yeah.
She really is. But yeah, just odd, come out of nowhere. Was sort of waiting for Charlotte to come back, but didn't think it would be now.
No, I thought maybe the Royal Rumble at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously it makes the. I'm kind of glad. And another reason why I'm glad she won is it means she won't win the Rumble. Because I was kind of worried she might come back at the Rumble, win, and then challenge Ronda at Mania. And I was thinking, oh, we don't need that again.
No, we don't want that again. Yeah, it's probably a good
or
thing,
even
actually.
challenge Bianca. But still, her winning the Rumble would have been boring. Whereas now, I think actually the Women's Royal Rumble is pretty unpredictable on who's.
I guess it's like the Money in the Bank in theory. It's Triple H's way of just getting them out of a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
The Ronda having the title, which was a bit of a mess again, wasn't it? So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens from there.
Yeah, and I think we're going to get better quality women's matches with Charlotte as the champion, no matter who she faces.
Oh, definitely.
You can do Charlotte versus anyone on that roster.
In, doesn't she?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll get this match again at the Royal Rumble. That's my theory. Is we'll get Charlotte Ronda 2. Well, not 2. It's like
a
5.
proper match.
Because
Charlotte
they didn't get a proper match.
Her.
Ronda's surely going to want her title back, so surely we're going to get another match between the two. What else did we have on SmackDown? Another interesting segment was the Bray Wyatt segment that opened the show.
Yeah, really enjoyed this.
Yeah, good promo as usual. Sort of a little bit with LA Knight as well.
Yeah, loving seeing LA Knight in this situation. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
And they're playing off each other. Awesome.
Challenge to a match at the Royal Rumble. So that is officially happening. And it's a pitch black match. So I don't know what that's going to entail. Sometimes these gimmick matches with Bray Wyatt are a little bit rubbish. Sometimes they've been okay. So I don't know what to expect. But pitch black
can't be
means
that pitch black, or no one's gonna be able to see anything.
Well, that's my theory. Are we actually going to be able to see what happens, or is it literally going to be pitch black?
Just see him led out in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, it's baffling what they're going to do here. But I'm hoping that Triple H has got an idea up his sleeve that's going to be good. But who knows? Sometimes these miss a little bit. But I hope we get a good match, especially as it's Bray's first one. I wouldn't mind it if he'd already had a couple of like just normal matches, but because he hasn't had a normal match yet, it's a little bit worrying that they're putting this stipulation in place. But anyway, the interesting thing really was the arrival.
Big Uncle Howdy.
And what baffled me here was he looked so different from the previous time he come out. So I thought it was a different character, but they are saying on the WWE website, it does say Uncle Howdy came down. But Uncle Howdy, the first time he come out, was like built, a bit chubbier, shorter, not as long hair, a different mask on.
Okay.
With the mustache. We've seen him on the screen with the mustache. Yep. Look completely different to
you think
this
they've changed
version.
their mind on who he is?
Either that or that there's
He's
two
multiple people.
Because I did hear that they did a trademark for Uncle Harper and Uncle Howdy. So I'm wondering whether there's two people involved. And Uncle Harper was the one we saw, and he was the one because whoever this person was came down and did the Sister Abigail to Bray and confused LA Knight. I don't know where this story's going, basically, but that's kind of a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, this is exciting. I love the way, I must say, talking about like we're not sure who it is, the Sister Abigail that got hit here looked insanely good. I'd say it looked better than how Bray does it. Definitely. Yeah. It was real snappy, which is making me doubt whether it's Bo Dallas, because I don't remember him wrestling like that.
No, it could be him. It could not be. There's rumors of different
comparisons
people.
of Bo next to Uncle Howdy's face, though, like with his beard and things, and it does seem to make
this version looks more like Bo than the other version. The other version with like the belly and that looks more, because people are speculating that like it could be like a Joe Gacy or someone like that. I don't think it's someone like that, but there's a lot of talk. There's a couple of guys from Ring of Honor called Vincent and Dutch who are like horror wrestlers, and people are saying it could be them. There's all these different rumors, but I don't know if I don't know when we're going to find out, and if there's going to be one it wouldn't surprise me if there's a faction, because Bray has had obviously main success when he's been in a faction before.
Yeah.
So I think actually him being in a faction would work perfectly, because he doesn't have to wrestle as much then. The other guys can, like in the White family, he did wrestle, style, but Rowan and Harper did a lot of work. Did a lot of work as well, and Strowman when he was in it. So, I think that suits Bray.
Yeah, forget Strowman was in it, actually. Could have some interesting interactions there eventually.
Definitely. But yeah, that was an interesting segment. Anything else to say about that before we move on?
No, just excited to see this, really. I mean, it's pretty certain that LA Knight's going to lose, but hopefully it puts him in good stead for his next feud, and we see him continually be on screen. Yeah,
absolutely. I think hopefully the future's bright now for LA Knight. Now he's sort of had this feud. I feel like Triple H is a fan, so that's good. We had another really good match on the show, actually, between Solo Sikoa and Sheamus. Just a random banger, really. Obviously, Sheamus been away for a few weeks. They've been writing him off with injuries and things like that. Came back for some revenge on Solo here, and we'll get to it when we get to Raw as well. But they are really pushing Solo at the moment.
Oh, massively so. Yeah,
and it's great. I mean, for him to get sort of a pinfall win over Sheamus,
I know, that's mad, isn't it?
It's a big win for him.
Big deal.
And the match was really good as well, but you'd expect that from a Sheamus match.
I enjoyed the Samoan spiky hit as well.
Yeah, I like that move. It's good. Cool. And he's come up to, he's one of those where I think we'll be looking back on, sometimes when we get NXT call-ups that weren't in NXT long and didn't do much, but then on the main roster were like great.
Yeah.
I think he's going to fit into that category.
Yeah.
Rather than the other way around. So often it's the other way around. People who are great on NXT then do nothing on the main roster. I think with Solo, it's almost going to be the other way around. But yeah, really good match between those two.
I mean, to be honest, probably discussing most of SmackDown here, but the only other thing I can think of was we had a bit of a confrontation between Braun Strowman.
Yes, that was one other thing I've got written down, with Gunther doing a promo, basically saying that he'd beaten everyone. They did a little video package of all the opponents that he's beaten, which was quite good. But then obviously Strowman comes out and he's basically like, "You haven't beaten me." And then they beat him down. Ricochet tried to come out and make the save.
Interesting seeing Gunther getting Strowman in a submission move. This isn't something we often see, is it?
No.
We had him in the submission in the middle of the ring. It was sort of like I don't really know, a standing arm bar. It was strange. But
yeah, he's been varying his moves up a bit. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's good.
apparently this match is this week. I thought for sure that would be a match that happened at the Rumble, but it looks like it's happening this week. But
I think they'll get more out of them two meeting in the Rumble.
potentially.
I think that could be pretty good. They could almost clear the ring and then just have like some big old slog.
Yeah, if they're going to be in it. I don't like champions being in a Rumble. So like obviously Gunther having a belt, if he's still got the belt,
Sure.
if he beats Strowman, personally. But I mean, with Gunther being
I
in it, I
don't
don't
think
think
for
it'd be a bad
lower
thing.
titles it's too much of an issue. I think main titles it's not a good idea, but
No,
depends
obviously
because they're not going to put all the titles on the line, are they? So
no, and Gunther being in a Rumble would be cool because obviously he's great, so it would be good. But yeah, I thought the match, but I think when we get to Raw as well, I think I've got quite a clear idea of
well, I
what the
think we're
Rumble card's going to
sneaking
be.
on to Raw now, actually.
Yeah, we've gone through SmackDown pretty quick. There wasn't that much else to say. Let's move on to Raw. And should we start with the top mark?
Yeah, let's go for it.
So
Exciting.
in terms of WWE TV this week, my top mark is Austin Theory and Seth Rollins in the main event.
What a banger.
Because they had a really, really good match. I was tempted to put Cena as my top mark, but I thought, do you know what? The match wasn't anywhere near, in quality terms, as good as this.
I think I have to agree with you. I think we're going for a double top mark here.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly.
Obviously, this is just from the shows we're doing. There were some other, Wrestle Kingdom had some great matches. AEW had some great matches, but this, just from WWE TV this week, this was easily the best match, I think.
Yeah.
Really, really put effort into it, put over this main event, US title. I'm really glad they're giving that the attention it deserves. And obviously, it's Rollins in a main event. The crowd is so into it. It's when they come alive now at the moment, really, is when Rollins is in the ring. And Theory gets that opposite
he has stepped
heat
into
as well.
the plate. He's stepped up to the plate massively, hasn't he, lately? His wrestling seems to have improved incredibly now.
He's getting better all the time. I feel like he's really becoming a top tier worker in the ring. He's getting better on the mic. His character's better. He's still young. I feel like he is the one to watch in WWE. I mean,
definitely,
WWE doesn't push a lot of young new stars, but I feel like he is one that will be.
It's crazy how our tune has changed from thinking, this is just Vince pushing him for the sake of it, to actually thinking, this guy could be the real deal.
I did think he had something before, but I didn't think he was ready for
the way they were
main event.
It was mad, wasn't
it? Whereas now it feels like he is being readied for something big. I would like to see. We talked about John Cena having an opponent at WrestleMania. That's a match I'd like to see. John Cena versus Austin Theory, because I think
title match would be awesome.
On the mic, Theory just insulting Cena, I think would be.
I think
good.
I wanted this last year, so actually this year makes it even more sense.
I think that would be something really entertaining. So something like that for me would be good. Some like a legend of some sort, I think, would be a good match for him in terms of.
And he doesn't have to drop the belt. No one's really going to lose by losing if it's like a legend and he cheats or whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, assuming he's obviously still champion at that point.
I think he will be.
I think he probably will be now because
they've swapped it about so much. I think now it's going to steady out.
I was kind of half thinking they might even swap it back here, but obviously they didn't.
It did feel like that, didn't it?
At one point, yeah.
And a big talking point really at the moment is Seth Rollins injured? So in the middle of the match, he was showing his knee giving way from stomps and things like that. But then you sent us some video footage from fans with Seth calling for the X straight after the match.
Corey Graves getting angry with the referees that they didn't call it off and stuff like that.
Yeah. And the fact that none of this was on TV would suggest that this is an injury.
Yeah.
But then the thing that makes me think, well, maybe it's not, is because he was showing it in the match. And I don't think...
That's what I found strange, because it was like he was selling it in the match, but then afterwards it felt like it was real. So maybe there's a little bit of both here. Maybe he was selling it in the match, but he has actually got a legit injury a little bit, but not
bad,
like...
He'd have ended it early.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have carried on. To the stuff he was doing, like frog splashes and that.
If you on one leg. He did a frog splash on one leg.
Yeah, and you wouldn't do that if it was an actual injury. You wouldn't be able to do it. No. So I don't know.
And
Maybe
he
they
also,
are very good at works nowadays. I wonder whether they want to write him off for a few weeks so he can rest up,
yeah,
ready for
going
a
into the
Rumble
Rumble. I mean, they
return.
can't really afford to lose him at the moment, even if it was for a
No,
few weeks, because the roster is looking. I mean, I saw a list earlier of Raw in particular, people that are missing through injury or absences of other kind, like riddles. And there's a lot of people. There is a lot of people missing. Good people as well, not lower card wrestlers
but you've got
necessarily.
like AJ Styles, Champa, just a couple
Yeah,
I can think off the top
Ciampa.
of my head.
Obviously, Edge has been away. Cody, obviously,
Yeah,
although he's close to return. We
he's
might get to
definitely
that in a
coming
minute.
back. This is something that
AJ's
is a
just
bit
got
of
injured.
well, sorry, I'll probably finish this
Yeah. Well,
segment and then go on
Let's
to a bit
finish.
of a gripe. But yeah, loved the match, and Theory wins by a low blow
Yeah.
after pushing a ref into a ref, wasn't it?
Yeah, because there's a ref bump, and then another ref come down, and he pushes
Yeah,
the ref into that ref, and then low blows Seth, and then gets the 8 town down to win.
A-Town down.
Match was really, really good. Finish made. I mean, you're not going to have Seth lose clean, so it's fine.
Sure. Yeah, I don't mind this at all when it plays into Theory's character.
Yep.
So I don't know if I'd go as far to say this is a skid mark, but I'm not best pleased with it. The Cody Rhodes promos, video packages. I
Yeah.
think it's taken something away from his return by almost hinting too often that he is going to come back. Like, I don't remember seeing too much for Charlotte Flair, and then she just came back and
Oh,
bang,
she
wow.
had nothing, but I don't. I think
I
there's
think they're trying to
obviously a
get a
big
draw
plan.
going for the
I
Royal
think they're
Rumble.
trying to get the talk because you can look at it either way. You can look at it as, oh, it's a bit spoils it because we know he's coming back, or it can hype the fans up. And then if you deliver on that promise, then it's fine. Obviously,
Yeah,
if they
thing
then
is, I
let you
think everybody
down,
knows he's coming though. It's not,
yeah,
it's not a
I think,
secret.
to be honest, I think everyone knew that he was going to be back soon anyway because he's been posting stuff online where he's like, he looks,
Well, it's like WrestleMania though. We knew,
but we
but
didn't
we
know.
didn't know, and it was
Yeah.
so good because of that.
Mm.
Whereas I think this takes a little bit of the magic away, and I
Yeah,
sometimes wish
I
they
agree
wouldn't
with you
do
because
that.
Rumble pops are surprises are great in
But
Royal
like
Rumbles.
when Edge turned up, there was
That was
rumors he was
insane.
going to, but wow, because we didn't know, we didn't have promos or hints or anything.
Mm.
I'd have preferred just nothing, like him maybe showing him doing rehab or something like that now and again, but not this close. But this was like
Yeah.
a proper, I'm coming back. I want
We know
this, that,
that
and the other.
he's clearly got a big story going into WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I've seen some stuff about them trademarking a term dreams to destiny or something of those words. So I think it's not going to be long after he comes back that he is going for like the WWE title,
No,
whether he wins the
definitely not.
Rumble or the Elimination Chamber or what. He's one way or another. He soon is going to be coming back and challenging for that title, isn't he? It's
Yeah,
quite obvious.
100%.
Yeah, I can see it from both sides. I agree that it would have been nice to keep it as a surprise for the Rumble. To be honest, as long as they've got other surprises up their sleeve, I'm not bothered. But like, if they don't do any surprises and then Cody comes out at like number 30 and we knew he was coming, then there's no surprise because it's not a
No.
surprise. If they have a huge surprise lined up other than Cody or two, then I won't be in it. So it's a case of waiting to see, really. With that,
Well, I can see Edge being there for sure.
I do, but I don't think that'll be a surprise. I think that'll be
It's not a huge
again. I can
surprise,
see
is it?
him. There was a lot of rumors before Raw this week that there was going to be a big return on Raw, and people were getting really hyped up for the show, and then nothing happened, and people
Yeah,
were
I got
pissed
hyped for
online.
this.
People were pissed online because they thought something, but WWE never said it, but it was rumors about it. But there was a lot of speculation that Edge or Cody were going to be on this show, so I think both of those will be around soon. Certainly Cody because they're teasing it. Another big thing that happened on this show, we had the Bloodline take over and hijack the show at the start, which they did a few weeks ago. I love this kind of chaotic start to the show. And then so KO comes down basically on his own to try and stand up to them. Some security guards get beaten up, and then half the roster come down. Your jobbers, well, not jobbers. They're not jobbers, but they're not. You guys that aren't being used. Yeah, you guys that aren't being used that much.
They had the Street Profits and people like that.
Yeah. It's just people that aren't being booked on the shows that much.
Yeah.
Come down, and then obviously that leads to all of the Bloodline being put in matches, which we got Solo Sikoa versus Elias in a street fight, and a 6-man tag team match with Street Profits and Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn and the Usos. So we might as well talk about those matches coming on from that.
Yeah, definitely.
2 fun matches. I thought the street fight was quite fun to watch.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed it, to be honest.
And again, like we said about Solo's push.
It was like a music match, wasn't it, or something like that?
Yeah, it was like a Music
City
Street
street fight.
So,
Because
yeah,
where it was.
It was basically similar. I mean, Elias has had these kind of matches before because he's a musician gimmick. Yeah. He's had one. I remember him having one with Jackson Riker, and he's had one with other people in the past. He gets put onto a piano in the end, which looked painful.
That did look painful. Yeah.
Samoan spike just before that, and then slammed onto that. So again, like I say, Solo getting another big win. That's 2 big wins in 3 days for him.
Looking real strong. But if he's the enforcer, he's got to be strong, hasn't he?
Yeah, if you're going to be booked as the enforcer, it would be a pretty shitty enforcer if he just got beat all the time. So yeah, I agree. It's important that he looks strong. And then the 6-man tag was a load of fun. Not a lot else to say about it, really, other than Sami got his win back with a haluva kick on Montez Ford.
He needed that, though, didn't he?
Yeah, because he took the loss. So they even mentioned on commentary that, he might be back in Roman's good books because he got the win for
It's
the
interesting back and forth, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's going to come. I think they're going to go back and forth until the Rumble, and then the Rumble, something's going to happen, isn't it?
Definitely.
Whether it's in the Royal Rumble match or it's in I'm assuming we're going to get Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns. So I think it'll be in that match.
Yeah.
I'll say what I think the card is after we get to the next bit, which is, I might as well talk about it.
Go ahead, yeah.
Alexa Bliss and Bianca Belair was what I was going to move on to.
Yeah.
I have mixed thoughts on this. One part of this is a skid mark for me.
Okay, go for it.
So the match itself, bit clunky, didn't have great chemistry, I didn't think.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a great in-ring match, and Bianca doesn't often miss. So it was a bit odd, but you know what? I stuck with it. I was like, this will be okay. But then the finish and the nonsense with the guys coming out in the masks, the Bray stuff that doesn't. What I don't understand about it is Bray isn't mentioning anything to do with Alexa on SmackDown.
No.
Yet Alexa's getting. It seems like it's a separate storyline. It just doesn't make sense, and I didn't like the finish of Alexa. Getting distracted and then going mad. They didn't even ring the bell for the DQs as well, so I was confused by that. I didn't like the finish at all to the match. The beatdown afterwards was quite cool between the two of them.
Yeah, it was savage, wasn't it?
And again, surely they're doing this match again at the Royal Rumble because there was no finish.
Yeah, but maybe we'll find out what's going on with Alexa then. I'm not too sure if they know what to do with her at the moment.
No.
I hope they do keep her away from Bray, but then it seems a bit odd if they're adding these people with masks.
Yeah, it's odd. And I mean, they're on separate brands. She's not been involved with Bray. I don't really get where they're going with this. And yeah, like I say, I wasn't really even impressed by the match here. So I was a little bit disappointed. If they're going to do this again at the Rumble, hopefully it's better with less nonsense around it and just a better match. Hopefully, maybe some sort of stipulation on it, because obviously there was a DQ here, so it would make sense to do
no
DQ kind of match.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. But I wasn't overly a fan of this at all. I was a bit disappointed because I was quite looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, when on
happened.
paper this is a banging match, isn't it?
So, yeah, it didn't deliver for me at all.
No. Something else
on.
that was okay.
Yep.
Again, still it's not delivering for me. So we need to talk about it briefly. Dexter Lumis having a match versus Chad Gable.
An odd bit of booking on this show.
It's sort of random, isn't it?
It was kind of out of nowhere. The match was quite short. The match was okay, but again, for a Chad Gable match, it was kind of nothing. Chad Gable matches are usually great.
It took me a loss to Dexter.
Not bothered about it, Dexter as an in-ring wrestler at all. No. That's the thing. So see him wrestle like a match against Thingy with no Gargano there, no Miz involvement, nothing. Like there was no storyline purpose to it really. Mm-hmm. It was filler. It was filler to get these guys on the show. And whilst I like seeing Chad Gable wrestle,
this didn't really show his talents off at all, did it?
No, it didn't. It didn't, and that was the issue with it. I would love to see Chad Gable have a solo, like a mid-card title run or something. this year at some point. I think he's
Yeah, I
earned
think
it.
he should. Yeah.
Because although I like him with Otis, you could still have them together, but you could have Otis as kind of like his enforcer, and then have Gable as, a singles.
That'd work really well, and actually get him doing some good wrestling would be cool.
Because Gable wrestles a lot of singles matches anyway. Otis doesn't wrestle that often.
No.
And when he does wrestle in tag matches, Gable does most of the wrestling anyway.
Yeah.
So I think that would work really well. And I think Gable has earned that kind of push with his work.
What would you give him?
The United States title, I think, would be perfect for him. He's an Olympian as well.
He's got to try and win now for theory, though. Or... That's tough.
Yeah, but I think if you could do it in a multi-man match or something like that, if you wanted to.
I'd love him to just get a bit more intensity and give him that sort of Kurt Angle vibe. I know it's very easy
I
to
agree.
do that, but I think we need someone on the roster like that.
He's shown he can do comedy. He's shown he can do serious. He's great in the ring. I just think he's so underused. He's been used more recently. Like he's having matches all the time. But in terms of his actual push and winning matches,
hasn't he? Though?
Yeah, he needs to start actually winning and getting a push rather than just being used. Couple of other things to mention then on this show. There was Damage Control cutting a promo on Becky Lynch. Becky coming out. She didn't have any friends to partner with. She kind of made a loose reference to Sasha Banks in this, saying that Bayley was always in someone's shadow, and even now she's in the shadow of the other two because they've got a belt, which I thought was quite good.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Turns into a 2-on-1 handicap match, but then halfway through, Michin, as her official name now, changed from Mia Yim. I noticed
on the website they still use Mia Yim.
I'm so confused because
WWE's website.
They've been calling her, like Gallows and Anderson and stuff have been calling her Michin for a while. And then on her Titantron, it still had Mia Yim. The commentary have gone back and forth. So I'm like, well, what's her name? But yeah, it looks
slow
like
transition.
Yeah. She comes down. It was a decent tag match, nothing special. And in the end, she lost the match anyway. So even though she was the freshest competitor in the match, but I guess you do need to keep Damage Control fairly strong as champions.
Yeah.
Maybe Becky is going to get some other backup in this feud. I think this feud's going on, so maybe she gets some other backup. We could do with more tag teams. Who knows what's going to happen?
Who?
I don't know. I keep suggesting this faction. I've seen other people suggest it as well. If Doudrop and Alba Fire, but who knows? As like an all Celtic invasion kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Alba Fire would be great with Becky Lynch, I think.
Yeah, she would actually. Yeah.
And Doudrop would be cool with them because she'd be a bit different. So
something, a bit of an enforcer, which would be quite cool actually.
Exactly, something like that would be cool, but I don't know whether we're going to get that really. That would be my idea of what to do with them. Because Alba Fire was, in my opinion, really wasted in NXT now. There's no point. I think she's too good for it.
Something was setting up a match for Friday, really, isn't it?
Yes.
So Drew McIntyre came out.
Oh yeah, and Sheamus.
After the Bloodline match. Sorry, not the Bloodline.
No, it was during this. Was it during the solo match?
Yes,
it was, wasn't it? I feel like it was during the solo match, and because I think the Usos come down to help Solo, and then they come down to.
That's it. It was just a bit chaotic, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was cool to see them on Raw. But yeah, it's the setup. Obviously, they've got a title match tomorrow night on SmackDown.
Yeah, I mean, they can't lose clean, and surely they can't win.
No, they're not going to win. They're not going to win the titles. Surely you can't. There's no point in taking the taking the titles off the Usos will completely ruin any story they've got going into WrestleMania. So I'd love to see
that these two could be.
Yeah, I'd love to see them have a run. I'd love to see them have a run, maybe later in the year.
Gives them something to do and gives them belts, doesn't it? And I think they'd be a really popular babyface tag team.
Yeah, and later on in the year, say we did get Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn win the tag titles, that would be a great tag feud to do.
A banging spot for them to win it or have a match at least. London, Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
That's a great incredible.
Yeah, that could be. I mean, yeah, it sort of would be a bit redemption, wouldn't it, for the losses they served in the
Oh yeah,
UK?
they both lost, and I
Yeah,
mean
they
Drew's
both
one
lost.
particularly, but yeah,
They would
Sheamus as
get an
well.
incredible reception. So that really wouldn't surprise me if we get them
That's
being
a really good shout.
a tag
Even
team
or one of
into
them
Money
wins
in the
Money in the
Bank.
Bank, like Sheamus wins Money in the Bank. But then I don't think that's a good idea really. But because he doesn't
No,
need to, does he? He doesn't need, and Drew doesn't need to either.
no. Tag
I'd rather
teams
someone
titles
newer
would be
get
good
it.
for them, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think that's a great shout for that. By the way, one other thing from Raw, and there's
Thanks.
something very small that
Yeah,
I noticed. I don't know if you noticed this actually, because I didn't
Max
notice it at the
Fisher.
time until I watched it back. When Damage
Okay.
Control were walking backstage, we saw, was it last week or the week before? MVP said he wanted a word with Adam Pearce about Bobby Lashley. Obviously, Bobby Lashley's gone at the moment. This week, MVP was talking to Adam Pearce backstage again. You couldn't hear what he was saying because it was just in the background, but he wasn't alone. Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander were also there.
Ah, okay.
So I think we're getting the Hurt Business back.
That's pretty cool actually, because I enjoyed that a lot.
And it gives Shelton and Cedric something to do, and they both deserve something to do
Yeah,
because they're
definitely.
very
Yeah.
good.
That was some of Lashley's best stuff when he was in the Hurt Business.
Yeah, that was great. And I mean, it gives MVP more of a purpose as well because he's wasted with Omos because it's going nowhere.
No, no.
There's a
in a while,
possibility
haven't we?
they could even throw Omos in there as well if they really wanted to.
Let's go against the bloodline.
Yeah, you could, because you could have Omos versus Sokoa as the enforcers, Lashley versus Reigns, obviously, as like the main, the main event of a pay per view or something, and then Cedric and Shelton versus the Usos. So that would work really nicely if you did do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought that was an interesting little thing.
No,
That
it is. I
didn't
didn't.
even
I
really
definitely
notice
didn't
that.
notice that. So well done, Fax
I didn't
Fisher.
notice it at the start. There's only when it was pointed out to me that, well, I saw it online and then I watched it back and I was like, oh yeah. So yeah, but that was a cool little thing. And I think that is about it for this week, really.
For WWE, just a lot of things been going on. A lot of setting up, and some results with the women's title change and things like that. Hopefully, our man Seth isn't injured. But I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you're fully recharged. Please follow us on Twitter at Recharge Wrestle, where you can keep up to date with our goings on and some news as and when we see it. If you're listening on podcast, please look for us on YouTube. Just type in Recharge Wrestling into the search and you'll come across us. And please like and subscribe and see you next week. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.